Hey folks, June 2000 here, coming at you with the next review, The Crow 3 Salvation. The Salvation is the third film in the Crow series. I know the first movie went to theaters, the second film went to theaters. The second film bombed, which I forgot to mention that it bombed, so it went straight to direct video. That's why the third movie is a direct to video movie, even the fourth film, which I'll get to. But yeah, the third film was the direct to video sequel in the series, and it came out in the year 2000, the year I was born. And that year, the 2000 came out with a lot of good shit, like American Psycho, Rugrats in Paris, Me, Myself, and Irene, The Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Two good fucking Jim Carrey movies that kicked ass in the 2000. The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, Bring It On with Kristen Dunst and Elisha Dushku. And ironically, Kristen Dunst is in this movie in The Crow Salvation, and I thought she was pretty good in this movie too. So yeah. So two movies she did in the 2000. And you got other 2000 movies like Little Nicky, which I think is an underrated Adam Sandler film that kicks ass and it's funny as hell. I enjoy it. It's a dumb funny movie. Yeah, a lot of good movies came out in the year 2000. Even Ginger Snap was a good movie. But yeah, Salvation, The Crow 3 is the third film in the series, starring Eric Marbius. Um, I have not seen this actor in other movies except for this one right now. I'm talking about. I know he was in the Ugly Betty TV show. That was the thing I only seen him in. Like I've seen his filmography, but I gotta see what other movies he has. But he plays a character that is being convicted of murdering his girlfriend, and he's put into the electric chair and he's put to death. And Kristen Dunst is his girlfriend's little sister, and she's with the girls with she's with her father, and they're there at the seeing him getting sentenced and being shown do death, that he's gonna be electrocuted due to the shocker share. You know, like how Horace Pinker got killed in Shocker, going shocker. But he's put to death, and it's pretty brutal and vicious that he's getting electrocuted, very disturbingly. And then they take his body to the morgue, but surprisingly, he gets away because the crow comes to his aid and knows that he's innocent in this trial of why he's getting accused and he's going to death. He is wrongfully accused of, because it was never him. He was framed by dirty cops. And yeah, the cops were just framing him to like get his ass out of the way, or first because they were involved in some murdering. They were murdering somebody in a nightclub that Eric Marbius' girlfriend witnessed in the movie, which is revealed that she witnessed something, that they murdered someone in the club. They're going after her, and then boom, they're about to like think they're gonna rape her, but instead they just start stabbing her and brutally murdering her, and then they plant the weapon in his truck, and so that's why he's accused of. And he's brought back by the crow to show that he is innocent in this movie. So he has like his face gets like, after he's like resurrected by the crow, his face starts melting and peeling off, and it's the crow makeup under him. And I thought the crow makeup looked okay. Like it was a little weird, but all in all, I thought it didn't bother me or anything. But it just looked weird because it wasn't that painted at all. It looked like they just put like the stripes of the crow logo like around the eyes and shit on the cheek. That's it. Like it's not painted with the white scenery around the paint of the face of the crow. But all in all, he goes and gets resurrected by the crow. He finds more files, finding out that the cops are dirty and they murdered his girlfriend cold blooded. And he grabs one of the knives, stabbing one of the cops through the throat and making them get shot in the head. Practically good practical effects for a straight to video movie. And the movie has a good soundtrack, and one of the songs that's played in the movie is Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a good song, because I like that song in Bride of Chucky. But it fit like a pretty cool scene where he's like interrogating this dirty cop that's in the car, and then they're being chased by the other cops' cars in the background, and Living Dead Girls playing in the background. Like that is such a fucking cool sequence. And then he starts killing more cops, like finding out they're dirty cops. One of the other dirty cops is Walton Goggin from the Hateful Eight and House of Thousand Corpse. He appeared in a lot of other stuff. I know he was like a transvestite character in Son of Anarchy, and he was also in a Django Unchained, and he also appeared in that he appeared in that Karate Kid movie with Hilary Swank. It was like the fourth one. Like he was like that was like one of his first movies that he did. But yeah, he plays one of the dirty cops. And of course, you could tell he is kind of a dirty cop. He's sneaky. But the crow goes after his ass too and kills them with a load of cops being bang, 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 getting killed. And the fighting and the shooting sequence are pretty well done. On and on. I would say the movie does have a slow pace in the first half of the movie. Like the first half is kind of dull because nothing doesn't happen for like 20 minutes until he finally kills one of the dirty cops. After one of the dirty cops tried to sexually harass and almost attempted rape on a girl that they stopped the girl who's driving and wanted to rape one of the girls that's drunk and asleep. But he's there to like boom, kill the motherfucker and shoot him in the head, and leaving his crow raven sign of the sign of the raven, quote the raven, nevermore. But he goes after the other characters one at a time. Boom, goes to this nightclub, does a badass shootout, killing all the fucking people that are shooting at him, slicing and dicing, stabbing them, shooting them, bang, bang, bang. He sees like a really young girl that's like naked and strip dancing as a stripper, and she's like handcuffed, but he frees her from her handcuff and tells her, "Go home. You're too young for this shit." So he saved an innocent soul from all the nasty fucking perversion shit. Shows you that the crow is a good person with a heart. And starts killing more of the bad guys. And one of the bad guys, I forgot the guy's name, but he's the dad. He played Lewis Creed in the original Pet Cemetery movie. I forgot the actor's name, but he's one of the dirty cops too that gets killed in the movie. But he played Lewis Creed, the dad in the original Pet Cemetery film. And turns out they're all being signaled by hiding a murder that they made, and then they killed the Eric Mabius' girlfriend for seeing the murder, and they want to like not get in trouble and got saving their own fucking asses because they're dirty cops and framing Eric Morbius and getting the death penalty for him. And of course, um, Eric Morbius is like interacting with his girlfriend's younger sister, played by Kristen Dunst. First, she doesn't believe him, but now she starts believing him because her dad was the one that was involved in it too. And she calls his ass out about it, and then she aligns with him, and they want to work with this shady lawyer, but he gets killed, and she gets kidnapped by the cops, and it turns out the one who's like the main villain, like like how Richard Brooke is the main villain in the second film, and Michael Wincock's the main villain in the first movie. Turns out the one that they made the hit, that's like involved in the hit, is Fred Ward, playing the commander chief of the movie. Like he's like the commander chief. He's the one that's the main person that's the dirty cop. He's like the one that's the fucking villain, the main villain. And this is the other con with the movie, besides like first half being boring. This has got to be Fred Ward's worst performance. Because this is the other con I had with the film. This is easily one of his worst performances in the movie because it's too fucking cartoony and over top. Like, seeing him as a bad guy, like, I didn't really buy him as a bad guy because I'm used to seeing him as a good guy in like movies like Remo Williams and also in Southern Comfort, The Tremors and Tremors 2. Um, I do not know what that biker movie is where he's in a dirt bike race, and then he goes into like a time travel gap where he goes into like the West. I forgot the name of that movie, but that movie, he's a good guy in that movie. Just I'm used to seeing Fred Ward as a good guy. I guess he was probably experimenting to be a bad guy, but not that it was a piece of shit role or anything, but it's just I could never buy him as a bad guy. I'm used to seeing him as a good guy. And I like Fred Ward. He's a criminally underrated actor that deserved a lot of more credit from his acting because he was really forgotten in a lot of movies. And I thought he was great in Tremors 2. That was like in my opinion, my favorite performance of him was in Tremors 2. But I think he's a great actor. He's criminally underrated, like Tread Williams. He's like up there with Tread Williams, that's criminally underrated, and William Forsythe, that's criminally underrated. But out of all his movies, I would say this is his worst role in the movie because this role sucked. I just couldn't find him as a bad guy. I would say he was a weak bad guy. But all in all, it doesn't hurt the movie for me, but it just like I don't know, just it felt too cartoony. Like he was like a too cartoony villain, over the top, like just I don't know, it just felt goofy. But I still like Fred Ward because I think he's a criminally underrated actor, and sadly we lost him a year ago. Rest in peace, that great criminally underrated actor, Fred Ward. But like he did okay. Like it's my least favorite role of his. It's just it feels too cartoony as him as a bad guy. Like why couldn't they have that actor that played that one that was like in Penn Cemetery that played the dad, Louis Creed? Why couldn't he be the villain, or even Walter Goggin as the fucking villain? Like as the commander chief, like Fred Ward could have played like one of those like one of those those side dirty cops characters instead. Like not a commander chief. Like it just felt too damn cartoony. But I still like Fred Ward. It's not like oh the role was a piece of shit. It's just like my least favorite role of his. But he's the one that is involved in the hit, and he kidnaps Kristen Dunst and tries to like keep her mouth shut by being so like Dee Snider Strangeland kind of style where he sews their mouth, but they sew her mouth. And she she's being like taunted by this nail polish painted toenail kind of lady that's fetish about painting toenails, but she gets her eyes pecked by the crow raven. And then there's a cop that gets stabbed brutally in the movie. And then they get, oh, like Kristen Dunst is trying to get away from Fred Ward, but she's captured. And then Eric Mabius has to kick his ass in a brutal fight. And then boom, they get the comeuppance on Fred Ward where he starts getting his ass kicked. They take him into the electric chair that Eric Mabius got killed on, strapped him in. They tell him, "What's your last words?" "Fuck you." And then guess what? He got fucking backed, where the electric chair goes shocker on his ass, and boom, going electric shocker. Like I was like kind of singing that song "Shocker," that shocker song from Shocker. Like he's getting his ass shockered because a bunch of blood's coming out of his hand, his face and shit. Very brutal, vicious kill. But all in all, Eric Marby gets his revenge on his girlfriend's murdering and also being free away from not being accused of it. Now he can rest in peace with his girlfriend. He has his talk with his girlfriend's little sister for a little bit, and then they part ways until he's like free with his girlfriend now that's in the afterlife. Like how the crow goes with the afterlife of their loved ones, they meet with them again. And yeah, that's the end. Fred Ward gets his ass shockered in the electric chair. And I actually thought this was a mid movie because the first half is a bit boring, but when it gets to like the second and third act, it's pretty good. So like it's a mid movie, a mid solid movie. And all in all, I would still say it's better than the fucking piece of shit that's next, which is a fucking rant. But this is a pretty mid solid movie. I thought Eric Marbius was pretty solid as the Crow in this movie because like they're not remakes or anything. They're just straight up sequels. Like they're not remaking it where they're gonna remake it with their Eric Draven name. No, they're with different characters' names. But yeah, Salvation was a pretty solid movie from the 2000, and I thought it was a mid solid movie. I did enjoy it, even though I would say I like City of Angels more. But Salvation was pretty decent. Like all in all, it's a mid solid movie, and I thought Eric Marvish was pretty good. Kristen Dunst was pretty good, and I thought some of the actors that were good in the movie. Walter Goggins was pretty good as one of the bad guys. The actor that plays that was in Pet Sematary as Lewis Creed, the dad in that movie, in the original Pet Sematary. That actor was pretty good. I kind of wish he was the commander chief because he would have pulled it off as being a very vicious villain. But I still like Fred Ward, even though it's my least favorite performance of his. I still like Fred Ward. Rest in peace, like criminally underrated actor. But yeah, that's my review of The Crow Salvation, which is the third film in the series, straight to video sequel. It's a mid solid film. Yeah. But see you to the next movie, folks. It's a big fucking shit rant of the Crow Wicked Prayer. See you, folks.